All right, this match between Pelicula 01 and Cool Umbrella. And yeah, if it is the one I'm thinking of, no, I don't think this is the one I'm thinking of. I think this was just a quick battle. There was a battle where Cool Umbrella's Barons of the Bog disintegrated from over half HP. Their leadership got low, and they got the demonic crumbling all the way to death. And that was just stupid. That was just stupid. I don't think it's this one. It's Cool Umbrella playing Nurgle, one of his beloved factions, that and the Green Skins. Marauder Horseman throwing axes, a whole bunch of Nurglings, a whole bunch of Chaos Warhounds. We have some Marauders of Nurgle in the mix, some with Great Open, some without. More Nurglings, more throwing axes. We do have some Pox Riders of Nurgle, and the Barons of the Bog ROR Pox Riders, but I still think Pox Riders are bad. Now these guys, the Barons of the Bog specifically, are actually really good because of all the debuffs and stuff they bring. Plus the vigor regen they do, but I think the other Pox Riders are trash. Then we have an Exalted Great Unclean One of Nurgle with Stream of Corruption and Fleshy Abundance. This was the OG guy, you know? The Exalted Great Unclean One was the original duelist. Before Kugoth got his buffs and stuff, this was the only Nurgle Lord you ever saw. It's kind of good to see him back after a long time. On the other side for Bretonnia, we do have Llewellyn Kerr returning to the fight. He does not do magic damage, which is actually surprising to me. We have Knights of the Realm, Companions of Quinel's, a whole bunch of Spearmen at Arms, Peasants, plus some Foot Squires, and a huge charge here from these Knights onto the Dogs. Dogs will soon rout, and that'll leave just the Pox Riders. We do have a Grail Relic, we have some Archers, yada yada yada. Knights of the Realm, Knights of the Realm. Okay, cool. And it doesn't look like Bretonnia brought a caster, which is probably a mistake. You almost always want magic, but more Knights of the Realm, so yeah. It's Llewellyn and a bunch of knights. He doesn't need no lady to protect him. He protects the ladies, the other way around. Barons of the Bog do get jumped on. Sword of Corona is popped. They're down to 30 melee defense, which is actually still pretty impressive, as Knights of the Realm will get a rear charge onto them, and the Beast Slayers of Bastogne will come in from the other side. That is a lot of anti-large onto the poor Barons, who are even getting a Fleshy Abundance right now, and their health is still going down that quickly. On the far side, Nurglings are charging Foot Squires, as some Peasant Bowmen just try and hold the line. The center is going pretty well for Bretonnia. The flanks, they are getting quite overwhelmed, and Llewellyn even jumps over to offer a little bit of support to his flagging Foot Squires. Barons of the Bog getting just deleted, as even Companions of Quinel's are joining the fight now. I guess they also have anti-large. They have armor piercing that's a little wasted on these guys, but they do have anti-large. Nurgle blobbing up on the Bretonnian front line, but Nurgle is good at lasting a while. He's not very good at killing, so even though these are just peasants, it will take him a long time to get through. The demonic instability comes in for the Barons of the Bog, and it does immediately finish them off, no matter how much healing they were going to get. Foot Squires trying to hold their own against 3 units of Nurglings. It's probably too many units clumped up on the same Foot Squire. We'll have to see. Dogs now taking over the back line. Nice job for Cool Umbrella. He's going to chase off some peasants, route some bowmen, route some peasant mobs, do all the good stuff. And the Stream of Corruption even tries to finish off this peasant bowman, but it's not quite able to. Llewellyn is holding it down with his peasants, making sure they don't go anywhere. Meanwhile, the Knights are going to streak in, getting a good attack off. I wonder if they turn and flank. Yes, they do, and that is a beautiful flank charge right there. Routing off all the mortal units, and you see lowering the leadership of the I guess you would call them immortal units, but they do start disintegrating away. Causes a little bit of a chain reaction. If these Nurglings can just get a little lower on leadership, they will start crumbling as well, and that'll be the end of this Nurgle pocket of strength. Nurgle is quite far behind in the balance of power. On the far side, Nurgle is doing very well. In the center, they are not doing so well. And on a side that used to be their strength, turned into a massive, massive defeat. Do have some throwing axes throwing in onto the Knights of the Realm, doing good damage, and there's no healer to really fix up things. Meanwhile, the Exalted Great Unclean One's just fighting his way. He's still pretty happy, pretty chipper, cheery. He does have a Mortis Engine type effect. He has a -8 leadership effect. So even Cav don't have the best time surrounding the big boy himself. Nurglings, one starts to crumble. The other one's hanging on for now. The Bretonnian Knights are starting to peel out of there. Llewellyn is charging in. The big Plague Lord himself, who's going to throw down a nice, solid heal. Fleshy Abundance. Going to heal him right up. And these Nurgle forces on the far side are going to need to come join the fight here. They won that flank, which is neat, but everything else is going to shit. They're going to have to move their power elsewhere. Exalted Great and Clean One is mostly trying to duel Lewin. It's letting its Mortis Engine take care of everybody else. And the Grail Relique is actually countering out... it's countering out his leadership debuff and then some, giving everything ITP and then plus 12 leadership. So these peasants will hold for a surprisingly long time. A rear charge from dogs will get rid of some, but a side charge from Knights of the Realm also not good for those doggos. And they are poor, innocent dogs. They do get routed off immediately. I don't know where their flag went. Oh, did they shatter? No, I just don't know where their flag is. Okay, there it is. It's back now. Exalted Great and Clean One, not having a good time, very close to his heal cap. Even a Fecundity is thrown down onto him. As he tries to finish off the Companions of Quenelles, a rear charge from the Marauder Horseman of Nurgle will also try and get rid of these Spearmen. He just needs to start getting rid of some stuff, but nothing will break because of that fucking Grail Relique. Even the Companions of Quenelles are fighting to the very end because the Grail Relique throwing out 12 leadership, and Lewin being nearby also is clearly helping. Nurglings start crumbling away. I don't think Nurgle has enough left in him. Exalted Great and Clean One's doing his very damnedest. And Lewin, for once in his life, doing well. Good for you, Lewin. Good for you. Yeah, I think Nurgle might be doomed. Might be doomed. Footsquire's holding to the end. They do finally get pushed off. Exalted Great and Clean One is still healing himself up. Balance of power, was he looking real bad for Nurgle for a second there, but it comes back. And it might not be over, folks, because the Beast Slayers of Bastogne, they're a little overhyped, you know, like, oh man, this cool elite Halberd ROR is surrounding him, but their stats are pretty minimal, and wow, Big Stream of Corruption just murders them. Now it's just a Grail Relique and Lewin versus the big boy. Oh no, the Beast Slayers rally a little bit. Okay, I thought they were gonna get pushed off. But more peasants streaking in, they will not be able to handle the Greater Unclean One, so it's all about whether Lewin can finish him off. Because the Greater Unclean One can easily Mortis Engine everything else on the map down. It's all down to Lewin. Sword of Couronne, lowering this guy's melee defense down to 35. He really needs to somehow finish off those Beast Slayers, and there they finally go. So he's no longer taking poke from Halberd units. Still trying to fight, and Knights of the Realm coming back, but those are the only Knights left for Bretonnia. They are going to try and get a fat charge onto some Nurglings. In Lance formation, newly buffed, doing a bit more damage, trying to spin those Nurglings off into the distance. But a pretty huge Stream of Corruption hits 3 infantry units on their way in. Exalted Great and Clean One, it actually has just 500 HP under Lewin, which is wild, because like its health pool is so big compared to Lewin's. Nurglings disintegrating away. Marauder Horseman running away, leaving the Greater Unclean One all by himself. The Balance of Power still fucking hates Nurgle. Balance of Power just hates him. Hates him, hates him, hates him. I mean, like, not in general, it hates Khorne more than Nurgle, but in this game, it is not giving a shit about how much Cool Umbrella does. As he pushes off everything, everything is routing for Bretonnia except for Lewin and the Grail Relique. Nurgle even has forces coming in. The Balance of Power is still like, you don't got this, as he's beating the piss out of Lewin. He's just taking it to him, and Lewin's getting nothing done. Lewin has no anti-large, and I generally tend to hate on Lewin because of how poorly he does in duels and like clearing out mass infantry. I just think Lewin doesn't deal as much damage as he needs to for a duelist, and we can see it here. He's been fighting this Greater Unclean One forever. He's just getting nowhere. He's getting his ass handed to him. He dives out into some Marauders instead. A quick Stream of Corruption is going to hit the fleeing peasants. Just make sure they keep running, do some free damage. And the only unit that Nurgle cares about is already heal capped, so it's not really worth healing Marauders with like a Fleshy Abundance or something. Marauders of Nurgle with great weapons run away from the Grail Relique. They're terrified of the Grail Relique. I know they're terrified of Lewin, but just let me have this. Is the Grail Relique and the Exalted Great and Clean One are just riding together. They're holding hands into the sunset, which is a little strange. It's a little strange. Lewin shatters a Marauder. Marauder Horsemen of Nurgle are coming back. It looks like they're going to charge the Grail Relique. Maybe they should be used to chase off the peasants, because that is going to be a big rally for Bretonnia. Lewin gets another charge, and just as his Grail Relique takes a giant smack from its once lover in the Exalted Great and Clean One. Still fighting Lewin. He's got Foe Seeker popped. Stand your ground. 69 melee defense versus 60 melee attack. That is pretty good for him. But man, he's made no progress on the Greater Unclean One. Just absolutely none. Grail League takes another nasty shot. It does finally start to rout, and the Mortis Engine is even going to do damage to it, because it's so low on HP that, I mean, I guess it counts. Lewin gets a big hit onto the Exalted Greater Clean One. 2,200 HP versus 1,900. Lewin still has some healing to go, to be fair, but it's looking like it's coming in too slow for him as he's taking a lot of damage. Quick terror out in from the Marauder Horsemen. Peasant mobs are closing in, but Lewin gets some nasty shots on the Greater Clean One, and they are just going blow for blow health-wise. Leadership getting a little scary low here for the Exalted Greater Clean One, down to 1,200. Lewin's kicking his ass. Lewin brings him down to 800, and he finally starts crumbling away just as Lewin takes 2 big shots. It's going to push him off, but the demonic instability is too much. As Lewin routes, the Greater Unclean One routes, everything on the map was routing except for this peasant mob. Very GG. If the balance of power was to be believed, it wasn't a good GG. It was not even a close game at all, but it ended up being very close. 7,300 value on Cool Umbrella's Lord. His Pox Riders really struggled to get their value out. Marauder Horsemen did great. Marauders did okay. Dogs did what dogs need to do. Unfortunately, Nurglings and basic Marauders really struggled to pay for themselves. 3,100 on Lewin. Very impressive as far as that goes. Like, I love shitting on Lewin, but he did good this game. Now, he did struggle at the very, very end, but up until then, we cannot deny that he did well. The Knights were handled very, very nicely, and I think Bretonnia probably would have clinched this out if they had a caster. You really, really got to bring one. So, GG. Roar.
Subscribe, yes, yes.